I just graduated, earning a bachelor's degree in creative writing. But was it actually worth doing? Hi everyone, I'm James, an author, editor, and owner of The Arcanist, an independent publisher dedicated to sharing excellent fantasy fiction. Going to college is supposed to be a rewarding experience. It's supposed to lead to professional growth you would struggle to achieve without a degree. Unfortunately, for creative writing students, and for students of the arts in general, the post-college path isn't clear-cut and success is not a guarantee. As a writing student, when you graduate with an undergraduate degree, you are not likely to have a job waiting for you. You will need to work a lot harder to find your career, or accept that graduate school is a necessity to progress in your field. If you are interested in becoming a writer, and you're wondering if a bachelor's degree in creative writing is right for you, well, this video is intended to give you a little bit more context on your road to making a decision. Before anything else, I must tell you, you don't need college to be a successful writer, but you might find a lot of value in the learning experience. At the beginning of my academic journey, I did not have anyone to give me advice or answer my questions. I had to figure it all out for myself. I was so clueless that I've spent a lot of time and resources traveling to events so that I can talk with experienced writing professionals whose advice has helped to guide me. Ultimately, the right path is up to you. I made a few mistakes along the way, and my perspective is far from complete, only one of many. My goal is purely to tell you about the good and bad aspects of my college experience, so that you can determine the route to your own path with a little bit more context than I had. But before we begin, let's hear a word from our sponsor, me! Hey there. I'm James, and I run the Literary Fantasy Magazine, a biannual publication showcasing powerful, character-driven fantasy. We publish free fantasy stories every other week on our website, and our first issue is available wherever books are sold online. When you subscribe to our yearly catalog, you will get instant access to our first issue and our entire archive. Writers, submissions for issue 2 are closed, but we're always taking submissions for the website. Links are in the description. Now, back to the video. By the time you are watching this video, I will have just turned in my last assignments. I will officially graduate from Southern New Hampshire University on May 1st, earning my BA in creative writing with a concentration in fiction and a minor in psychology. As I near this milestone, I've been asking myself if the work and money I invested was actually worthwhile. While I have promising plans for the years to come, the near future is murky, and the job market is completely fucked. I'm very likely to remain in my current position for the next few years, and that's a scary thought come time to pay back my mountain of student debts. I enrolled in SNHU's creative writing program back in 2022, after my entire life as I knew it completely fell apart from under me. Long story short, I had to move back in with my dad, and I was a newly unemployed college dropout twice over. I didn't have any direction, and I chose to study writing because I love to write and I wanted to write better. Not exactly the most firm basis to make a huge life decision on, but in choosing a field that I was passionate about meant that I got to thrive in school for the first time. I had always been smart, but I've always been a chronic underachiever. College, unlike any of my previous schooling, had actually challenged me, and it forced me to grow in order to keep up. I eventually tacked on the psychology minor because I wanted to diversify my resume, and because I desperately wanted to study a science before I left school. I also fell in love with psychology as a consequence. I attended SNHU's excellent online program to accommodate a full-time job and my limitations as a person with specific, but private cognitive challenges. I also enrolled for nearly 3 years of back-to-back classes without a break. And through the whole thing, I've worked a full-time job and pursued my own writing goals. It hasn't been easy, but it's been very rewarding. Looking back at where I started, it's fair to say that college forced me to put on my big boy pants and grow the hell up. I went from being a recently unemployed kid with absolutely no direction living with his dad to becoming a self-sufficient person living in a wonderful home with a beautiful fiance who's about to be a college graduate. But that's not really because of college. It's because I worked my ass off, and I have a partner who challenged me to become the best version of myself possible. I needed to make something of myself. I needed to prove to myself that I was capable and worthy of achieving my dreams. I have both positive and negative feelings about my undergraduate experience. And now that I know better, there are things I would do different if I had to start over. At the same time, I don't think I would know better without this experience. For the sake of appeasing the algorithm, let's discuss the downsides of pursuing a BA in creative writing. By far, the biggest downside to an undergraduate writing degree is that there isn't a job waiting for you when you graduate. This is becoming more common as the value of college continues to degrade, but it's especially true with degrees in the arts. There are jobs that might value your creative writing education, such as digital content marketing, technical writing, or staff editing, but these jobs are highly sought after and it's extremely difficult to stand out. Even with years of freelance experience, graduating with honors, and a fully stocked portfolio, it's extremely difficult to stand out in the job market. Worse, there are degrees that are just tailored better to those roles than creative writing is. I took on the psychology minor because I thought it might provide me transferable skills that could assist in my job search. And while I have gained the skills, employers don't seem to care. Maybe I'm looking in the wrong places. Maybe it's because I've only just graduated and I've been searching for full-time entry-level work in writing and writing adjacent fields for 6 months and have yet to get a single callback or interview. More advanced adults watching, please let me know what I'm doing wrong. I'm mostly searching on LinkedIn, and from my view, it's a wasteland. Right now, in the state of Indiana, my only real options aside from grad school are staying in my current position or working as an uncredentialed high school or elementary teacher, and that just doesn't make sense for my lifestyle. My education has given me the tools and the know-how to run my publishing business, but that's still in its first year and will take a lot of time to become a dependable source of income. Graduating, unfortunately, doesn't magically make my side hustle profitable. Outside of job and career concerns, there is a major problem with the formula of undergraduate level creative writing courses, and that is students from other majors who are just there for an easy elective. These types of students tend to drag down the courses, offering middling to terrible feedback, and they just don't care the way dedicated writing students do. Workshopping and peer reviews are among the most important components to a good writing class, and if your peers won't come on board, it's going to be a bad experience. The only person who can make up for a bad roster of students is an excellent professor who provides thoughtful and actionable feedback. But sometimes, you will have bad classmates and a bad professor. If that happens, sucks to suck. These problems are usually exclusive to the undergraduate creative writing courses. In most graduate-level creative writing programs, students and faculty are there based on merit and their devotion to writing, not deflated curiosity. So, what did I actually enjoy about my schooling? I can't deny the power of personal growth I experienced during my time at SNHU. The material was challenging, and the format required that I take initiative to keep up with the courses. When I started college, I was a bad writer, a bad reader, an underachiever, and I had no idea how to actually conduct research. Nearly 3 years later, I can confidently say I've come a long way. My writing skills have improved drastically. I read more than ever, and I do so with intention and the ability to think deeply about what I read. My note-taking skills are excellent and have improved every aspect of my intellectual life. I love learning, and now I know how to continue learning as I prepare to leave school. I've also developed an ironclad work ethic. What I do now, running a publishing business, writing books and stories, maintaining 2 YouTube channels, working full-time, schooling full-time, being an active participant in my relationship, would simply not be possible for me a few years ago. Trust me, I tried. Now don't get the wrong idea. I've built up all these different projects and pursuits over time, and none of them are especially glamorous. Aside from my job, none of them pay my bills. I didn't just wake up one day and decide to do all these things at once. And it's also going to take some time to enjoy the fruits of my labor. I've made a lot of sacrifices. I don't have much time for hobbies or socializing with friends. I wake up early and I go to bed early. The balance is razor thin and easily upset. However, I feel that I've become an incredibly competent and confident person. I love who I've become and how I've grown. I love what I do and the people and critters I spend my life with. I'm not a genius, but I've worked hard to sharpen my brain so I can keep up with people who are more innately talented and have more time and money. This growth is worth a lot to me. Was college required for me to get to this point? Probably not. But given where I started, I'm not sure how else I could have come so far in such a short amount of time. As a writer, I flourished. In school, I was exposed to genres and authors that I fell in love with that I never would have found otherwise. and these things shaped and improved my craft. I've read a lot of amazing writing. I've read a lot of bad writing, and through countless literature classes, I've been forged into a pretty good editor. And I'm not just tooting my own horn. I ask for testimonials from pretty much every author I work with, and I've gotten exceedingly positive feedback lately. Since launching The Arcanist, I've had stellar reviews from contributors that I've worked with. Years ago, I freelanced in the tabletop game design space, and I did not perform well, nor did I maintain a positive reputation. I didn't know what the hell I was doing, and my clients and peers knew it. I'm not saying that you need to go to school to become a good writer or a good editor, but I do believe if you put in earnest effort into higher education, you will grow and improve your skills in your desired field much faster than people who don't, on average. Most of this is because learning is a skill, and elementary and high school in the United States teaches students to resist learning and to hate it. College should teach you how to learn, and a good college should show you to love learning. So, what kind of person would take this path? The only way I can recommend doing an undergraduate in creative writing is if you are the kind of person who can't imagine not doing it. Like, this is what you want. Nothing else will do. Otherwise, I think you're better off with a more marketable degree that will open easier access to other opportunities. When I started my academic journey, I had no idea where my life was headed. I had dropped out twice. I had tried 4 different majors. Nothing clicked. I had pretty much given up on education. I made a decision to study writing, understanding it would be a difficult path because I couldn't see myself succeeding in anything else. Because I followed my passion, I had the opportunity to excel at something I loved for the first time, and that experience was priceless. In my view, that should be the only reason why you pick a creative writing as your undergraduate major. It's a tough road with no clear destination, and it's not for the faint of heart. If I were to do it all over, I'd probably major in something else, like business or marketing that would help in my business, and minor in creative writing instead. This is because you can pursue creative writing in graduate school. A Master of Fine Arts in Creative Writing is actually a valuable degree with a clearer career path as a writing teacher at the end of it. MFA programs are merit-based, meaning you will be surrounded by like-minded, devoted writers, and you'll have opportunities to meet and network with faculty and visitors who are actually successful in the field of writing and publishing. The best MFA programs will pay for your tuition and give you a stipend to cover your cost of living so you can write, teach, and study full-time. But these programs are highly competitive, often only bringing in a handful of students every year. There are more accessible, partially funded programs so you can relieve some of the financial burden while working and pursuing your degree. A valuable piece of advice I was given at a conference was never to pay full tuition or to go into debt for a writing degree, even if it is a really nice MFA. There are just better ways you can spend your money. After the MFA, you can pursue postgraduate certificates and studio degrees equivalent to PhDs that will make you eligible to teach at other MFA programs. Keep in mind that an MFA in creative writing is an extremely competitive program and harder to get into than other types of graduate schools. Just because you applied and have good grades doesn't guarantee you'll get admitted. The most important thing is your writing. These programs are for devoted, serious writers who want to learn from the best in environments designed to push you to your limits. Despite this, most programs do not require you to have a degree in creative writing. Usually, any bachelor's degree would do, which is why I recommend pursuing something more marketable. So, what's next? I plan on taking at least a year off from school to focus on my family and my writing. And I'll take more time away if we welcome an addition to our family. I need some time to breathe. This last semester was a special kind of hell with everything going on in my personal life right now. During my break, I'll be applying to MFA programs in my region. I'm looking to get into one of those lofty funded programs so that I can quit my day job and even get a raise to write full time. More reasonable, I'm primarily looking into a low residency program so that I can keep working and have the opportunity to study in person for a few times a year. I am, of course, looking for jobs, and if I land a great full-time position or my own business picks up, I might put off grad school a little while longer. Worst case scenario, if I just can't convince any of my ideal schools to let me in, I'll probably just do a master's in something practical and get a real job before I starve to death. When you're thinking about college and the road after, it's worth it to have multiple plans you can refer to. It's worth it to think it through. This is a huge financial decision, and as a writer, you're likely to acquire more student debt than you'll actually make back with your profession. And life changes all the time. No one can tell you what the future holds. So, was it worth it to go to school to get a BA in creative writing? For me, it absolutely was. I made a few mistakes along the way, and I'd probably take a different path if I had to start over again. But I've grown much during my time at school, in ways I likely would not have without it. I can't tell you if it'll be worthwhile for you. That depends on you, and I'm just frankly not qualified to tell you that. You don't need to go to writing school to become a great writer. In fact, most great writers didn't go to writing school, but it does help you achieve that end. If you're on the fence, remember that there are a lot of good reasons why your writing shouldn't be the thing putting food on the table. But that's a video for another time. Be sure to check out The Arcanist. We publish new fantasy stories every other week, and we have a monthly newsletter. When you subscribe to our magazine, you get instant access to the most recent issue and our entire online archive. You'll also get the next one early. We're always accepting submissions, so if you're working on some fantasy stories, send them our way and let us know how you found us. If you liked the video, don't forget to like and subscribe so you don't miss the next one. Till next time, keep writing, keep revising, and I'll see you in 2 weeks.